So you'd like to get your power door locks working on your F150. If there's nothing I can possibly say to you to talk you out of it, then I guess with no further ado, let's dig in. You will be taking the entire God-loving door apart. This is not very well suited for man hands, but it's doable. I managed to get my sausage fingers in there and make this happen. So let's get started. Gotta take this here trim piece off that goes up the side. This will just pop off. This will pull straight off. You have some clips back here. That's going to expose a screw right here. Remove that screw. Once you have that screw out, we're going to pop off where the power buttons are. This also will just pull straight up and pull off. Once you pop up this end, it'll slide out. You'll feel it. And then you have all kinds of connectors in here. And there's buttons right on there that you're going to press, and then these will pull out pretty easy. And then that'll be out of the way. Next, you're going to be taking this trim ring apart off where the door handle is. That also will pop right out. Just pull that straight off and slide that out. You're going to find another screw in here. Remove that screw. So once you have that screw out, you're going to grab a hold of the door handle and you're just going to lift up on the whole panel, and then it's going to come off. Now you're going to have one wire on here holding on, and that's where your light is right here. So just reach back in there and turn that counterclockwise, and that'll come right off. So you saw how that just lifts up and then pulls off, so you don't break any of your tabs. Now it's probably a good time to mention now, make sure your window's all the way up. If your window's down, it's going to be in the way when we need to go get all this mess out of here. So make sure the window's all the way up before you do this. Go ahead and remove your plastic weather guard here. And also you'll have your speaker you have to take off. You have 4 screws that hold that in. So remove the speaker and then take this off. All the sizes and all the tools will be in the notes of the video. Okay, don't get excited. That was the easy part. Now we're going to start getting elbows deep. So I highly suggest you only do one door at a time, obviously. And the next thing I would suggest is stick your camera inside here and get pictures back in here where your locking mechanism is. I had linkages popping off and falling down into the door and things like that. And I had to look at this door to see where the one went. So just be conscious of that. That way you're not kind of screwed later. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the inside door handle. You'll see 1 hex there to do that. Now once this screws out, this is going to slide forward and then pop off. And then behind here you're going to see a cable, looks just like a bicycle cable. Pop this white piece off and then it'll come around, and that's how you'll remove that. Easy enough. After that, get yourself a flathead screwdriver and work the cable out of the holders. Don't break them. You'll see, and when you get close up, you'll see how they work. The cable's just going to pop right back in. So now the cable's free. After that, we're going to get in here and remove this cable. Oh, I'm sorry, not the cable, but this one linkage. And this is the one that I had dropped that was hard to find. See if I can get you in here and see. You're going to see two cable, yeah, keep calling cables. You're going to see 2 linkages in there. You see the one with the yellow holder on it, and it has threads down at the end. That's going to come off, and also the one behind it. That one behind it has a little bit of red on it right there. Sorry about this, it's a really tight area. That one that has a little bit of red paint on it, that's the one that had dropped on me. It just loosely hooks in up there. And like I say, when you get your camera in there and look for yourself, you'll have a better view of it than what I'm giving you here. So just take that off at the top end, and if it hangs off the locking mechanism, that's fine. If it falls off, just take it out. You'll see how it goes in. Just pay attention to that. So go ahead and remove that farther back linkage with the red on it. Here, I found a better way to explain this to you. On the top of that linkage, you're going to have a connector that looks just like this here, just how the cable was to the door latch, where it has two pieces that come up, and it just clicks in there. So if you get a flathead screwdriver into the door and gently pull back, spread those apart, that linkage will come off at the top. If you just yank on it, you might break those plastic pieces. I don't know if you can really see it. I'm trying to find a way to show you this. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Where is it? Here. You can't really see what I'm talking about, but that's what it looks like on the end. And we're inside the door. Oh. But that's what the fasteners will look like that hold it. Get the camera in focus here. That's what the fasteners will look like that hold that top of the linkage in. Okay, all you brave souls that are still with us after that last cable, or that last linkage rather, I want to just reiterate that I did warn you and you chose to do this. So next we're going to do the next linkage back there, the one that has the yellow clip on it. Now, I don't know if it's easy to see in this video or not, and like I say again, you'll get a better view of it when you have it in front of you in person, but what you're going to do is take a long flathead screwdriver in there, and you'll see it pivots on the back here. Right here is where it swivels. The front's where it clips on. So you're just going to pry back on this to open it. There you go. See how it just kind of popped right open after I pried back on it, and then it'll swivel back. Now I'm just going to pull this linkage straight out, and you'll see how it goes in there. And that, boom, just like that. You can go ahead and close that back up because you can get it open back up later outside the door. So once that's off, there's our other one we had taken off. Now we're going to remove, well, let's do the door handle next. That might be easier. Removing the door handle, the outside door handle isn't too bad. You're just going to have these one nut on each side. And once you remove those nuts, you're going to remove it by pulling up on it. So from the outside, you're going to, just like if you were opening the door, pull up on it. That's going to pop these tabs out of the bottom, and then you'll be able to pull the door handle right out. Okay, so I got those two nuts off. So I'm just going to lift up on this. And you can maybe use push out from the inside so you can push up on those clips at the bottom. And you'll see it'll pop right off. And then I'm just going to slide it down and right out of there. And that's off. Once we have that off, we're ready for the meat and potatoes. You got 3 Torx head screws there, so go ahead and remove those. Now, one last thing we should have done before we undid those 3 screws is remove the actual lock linkage right here, and that's easy enough. You'll see right there, there's a clip that just pops straight off, and then this will slide out from where it hooks into the locking mechanism. So go ahead and get that off, and then we'll remove this whole mechanism. Once you have that done, just pull this, work this right up out of the door so it's out of the way. Get that outside the door just so it's out of our way there. And now we're ready to work this whole mess out of here. So the whole locking mechanism, there's a metal bar that runs up the side of the window here, or where the window goes rather. We need to work this whole jumble around to the front. Just got to kind of twist it right around. And there's 2 electrical connectors that plug into the bottom of this lock actuator. Now's also a good time to remove this other cable. You'll see how it hooks on there. So you can go ahead and get that off. Remove that. It's just one less thing we're fighting with. Just work this right around. Like I said, there's not a lot of extra wire there on these connectors. You just got to get up to, you can get your fingers down in there and see what's going on. This is where sausage fingers does you no good. really just kind of feeling. Now once I get them off, I'll be able to show you how these connectors go on there. That's why having videos helps. You can see how somebody else broke all their connectors so you don't break yours. Problem is I can't get my stinking fingers in there. Oh, you know what? There we go. On this door, I was able to work it around the other way. So instead of taking it out around that bar this way, I brought it out around the bar this way, and now you can see these connectors. Pop that one off. And this one's definitely a little tighter. It's going to need a flathead screwdriver. Get behind there. And pull that one off. There. On the other door, I worked it out through the other way. On this door, we went through this way. I would still recommend removing that door handle, just because there's really not that much to it, and it just gives you more room in there once everything's out of the way. So here we have our whole thing out here. Now we're not quite done yet. Okay, so to remove the actual lock actuator, we have to get it off of this frame. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and it's just held on right here. You'll see where it clips in here. I'm trying to show you the best picture. There, you see right there, you see this piece here, and you'll see the piece of metal that it clicks on. So all you're going to do is use a flathead screwdriver to pull back on that plastic piece, and then pull this whole mechanism towards you. It's going to be hard for me to do at this angle on tape, but I'm just going to, that plastic piece is hooked on to a metal clip. A little piece of metal it's hooked onto. We're going to bend it out away from that clip and then slide the whole actuator off of this frame. It won't be hard at all. And you may also have to turn this connector, this electrical connector, out of your way, or pull, kind of separate the two. They're really up against each other tight there. And all I'm doing is putting my fingers right in here to keep pressure on it as I bend that out of the way. And then I had to work it past the connector, and then that comes right off. Now, it's in the way of the connector, the old one. They have redesigned these. I'm going to show you what the new one looks like. Now, the ones I recommend I got from AA Ignition. They actually have an Amazon store. I think they're on eBay and everything else. I was able to find these $25 for both of them and their lifetime guarantee. I can't be bought. I don't give good reviews for getting free crap or nothing like that, and I didn't get these for free. I bought these and everything else. I'm just a backyard mechanic showing you how I screw things up so you don't screw them up. So I'm just telling you, it is good. They're cheap. Everywhere else, you're going to pay like $45, $50 per lock actuator. So AA Ignition is where I got these. Again, lifetime guarantee, $25 for both. So now here you'll see the redesign. I don't like that this is a plastic piece now instead of metal, but I haven't had any issues with them yet. But you'll see how this is straight, where this has a bad angle, and that's where it was kind of getting in the way of that connector and all. So when you get your new ones, they will be a different shape and all. You're fine. You can't really order the wrong one here, and I'm going to tell you. When you go to order these lock actuators on these Fords, it's going to ask you if it's a 2-door or a 4-door. If you have a 2-door or an extended cab, this is what you're going to see. If it's the 4-door, it's a totally different looking lock actuator. So just so you know, if you pull this out and then you go to order it and you're like, wow, that doesn't look the same, must be the wrong one, it's not. So just so you know, it is a redesign. And that's all there is to this. Again, if you took pictures, hopefully you did. If not, rewind the video and look at mine. So I'm not going to go through the reverse process. It is, not to sound like a Haynes manual, but installation is reverse or removal. That's all there is to it. So hopefully this helped you out, and yay for you if you get this all back together and your power locks work again.